Here's what's coming up on your horizon. Few industries have evolved more than agriculture. But among the winds of change, there are Oklahomans who have kept the industry firmly rooted in place. I'll introduce you to a gentleman who was honored at our state capitol for his lifetime of work on the range.
It takes a lot of work, you bet it does. It's no easy route to success in agriculture.
And we go inside an Eastern Oklahoma classroom to meet a teacher who brings the farm to school and demonstrates the science of agriculture.
I got to searching on the internet for things and found ag in the classroom. Like, they even have workshops you can go to.
Stay with us for Oklahoma Horizon.
Oklahoma Horizon is made possible by the Oklahoma Department of Career and Technology Education.
Oklahoma's investment in career tech provides more than nationally recognized technology education and training. It produces solid financial returns for the state's economic future. Oklahoma Career Tech, elevating our economy.
And the Oklahoma Department of Agriculture, Food, and Forestry, helping good people grow good things.
And now, from the Career Tech Studios in Stillwater, here's your host, Alisa Hines.
Hello everyone, thanks for joining us here on Horizon. My name is Alisa Hines. Rob McClendon is away. Since before statehood, farming and ranching have been a cornerstone of Oklahoma's economy. Through the decades, Oklahoma farmers and ranchers have enjoyed the good times and endured the bad. Surging farm incomes in recent years have turned many ag producers from net borrowers to net depositors in our rural banks. And our agricultural sector is, well, it's booming. Earlier, I caught up with Oklahoma's Secretary of Agriculture, Jim Reese, and asked him about the impact farming and ranching has on our economy.
First off, it's over $9 billion worth of economic impact just on products sold in the state of Oklahoma. That's crops raised, calves raised, livestock raised. So that is just the sale of the product. So when you multiply that by the amount of grain sold, eaten, hay, it's exponential. A study 2 years ago showed $36.5 billion worth of economic impact. But it's much larger than that right now because of the higher commodity prices, higher grain prices. Things have increased significantly since that study was developed 2 years ago, and that was a 5-year average.
Despite constant advancements in technology and growing demand from around the world, Oklahoma agriculture does face one challenge most industries don't have to endure: Mother Nature.
Well, it's one of the things, like this drought, is been a major obstacle. But if it wasn't this drought, we've had floods. We've had, what was that tropical storm Aaron, that came through. We had army worms, we have grasshoppers, we have, it's not an indoor sport. Agriculture is not an indoor sport, and farmers and ranchers have dealt with the elements and nature for as long as they've done the industry. And, it's just part of what we know that we have to deal with. And so, as farming has progressed, we've adopted new practices, we have better seeds, we have all of those farming practices have advanced to a degree that we plan for weather that might not be best suited for whatever crop, for livestock. We plan for events because it's an outdoor sport and we're prepared for it.
Now, while Oklahoma's drought is being persistent, there is some good news for the first time in more than 14 months. Parts of Oklahoma are seeing a little relief due to heavy snows and rains they've received. And according to the Climate Prediction Center, conditions in those areas are expected to improve at least a little bit. When we return, we meet Oklahoma's Agricultural Hall of Fame winner.
You're watching Oklahoma Horizon, featuring some of the good things that are happening in the great state of Oklahoma.
When people speak of the Oklahoma standard of hard work and toughness, much of it can be traced back to our proud farming and ranching heritage, which is why each year the governor gives out an Outstanding Achievement Award in agriculture. And this year's winner's success is only rivaled by his contributions to the state. From conservation to livestock management, John Hughes has done it all during his 63 years in agriculture. He shows the true grit of an Old West cowboy, but with a vision for innovation. John Hughes does a lot of driving in a day.
From the edge of the pasture over there where we came out of the old horse trap, all the way down to this, when we cross this next cattle guard, it's a half a mile. And this is the first brush spraying that I did.
In an area that, thanks to his conservation efforts, is now pasture land.
We were faced with being in the cross timber area, and the prairies were good, solid blue stem, but the post oak blackjack areas, the blue stem was there, but it was suppressed by that overstory. And so the work that we did with Harry Elwell and some of the early pioneers in brush control really paid off for us. And we were able to make high carrying capacity native grass pastures out of some that were really marginal when we took them over.
Land that has been in his family for 2 generations.
My father started the ranch with the purchase of 1,800 acres from the Union National Bank in 1938.
And the ranch has definitely grown since then.
There's 12,000 deeded acres in the home ranch. It's taken 17 separate purchases to put together what we own today.
The youngest of 4 children, John grew up on the ranch where he learned the value of hard work, hoeing the garden and milking the cow.
It was a hard scrabble existence. My parents believed in having a big garden, and when I say big garden, I mean big garden. What people today would say was a commercial truck garden, that was the size garden my parents had. They came up the hard way. One of the things my dad used to be the proudest of, I think, we'd sit down to Sunday dinner and he'd say, the salt, the pepper, the sugar, and the tea are the only store-bought things on the table. And it was true. And the truth of the matter is, we actually traded butter, eggs, and produce for the salt, pepper, sugar, and the tea. So we really never had a grocery bill. You know, I've been very, very blessed to have happened that my folks settled here, because if you're going to be in the ranching business, the tallgrass prairie area of Kansas and Oklahoma, as far as I'm concerned, is about as good as it gets. I've grazed cattle a number of places in a number of states, and I wouldn't trade our area for any place I've ever been.
And it was as a youngster that John's love of the ranching life developed.
I fell in love with the cattle business, with the people, really. We had a cowboy that worked for Dad growing up named Bright Drake. He was a real favorite of mine and had a lot of influence over me. And I also have to give credit for spending a summer 1948 at my uncle's ranch in New Mexico, and it really made me appreciate what we had at home compared to what they had.
He loved the life so much that he went to OSU to study agriculture.
Animal science. They called it animal husbandry when I was there. And I'm also so very proud of people like Bob Todashek, who was a big inspiration to me.
And it was while at OSU that John met his wife, Lorna.
It's been wonderful, and you know, Lorna and I have accomplished a good many things during our career. You know, we raised a lot of calves when we had a cow-calf program, and we've produced a lot of beef, and we've raised a lot of grass. But by far, our number one accomplishment has been our 4 children. And I'll tell you, I can't say enough about, you know, I had a family that stuck with me, and my wife and so forth. And I'm very fortunate. My kids they truly are. I'm blessed.
Now, John may have been ranching a while, but he's always looking to take advantage of the latest technology.
The advances forward in the ranching industry, and specifically the cattle end of it, have made such strides. Genetics alone Today it's not uncommon at all to get in excess of 300 pounds in a 100-day period in our area in the spring. And with the genetics that we had when I left Stillwater in 1955, it was pretty darn impossible to get that kind of performance no matter what kind of year you had. Taking advantage of new technology, I think has been one of the things that's led to our success.
A success that includes more than just cattle.
We bid on our first horse contract in 1988 and got our first horses in October of '89. And since then we've had a long, enjoyable relationship with the Bureau of Land Management, pasturing unadoptable excess wild horses.
Whether it's cattle or horses, taking care of a ranch this size isn't easy.
It takes a lot of work, you bet it does. No easy route to success in agriculture. But over my career, no question I was discouraged at times, but never to the point of thinking about doing anything else. I think when I realized that by using technology at the time, i.e. herbicide, I could create from what I already owned enough grass to make a living. That was really the turning point of my career.
A career that has spanned 63 years, but one he still enjoys doing.
I think people that stay active and stay busy, you may think I'm kidding, but I'm not. I honestly feel sorry for people that are forced to retire. That's one great thing, even though there's no retirement program out there for farmers and ranchers. They have to provide for themselves, but they don't have to quit either. So I think that's a big plus, because you can really stay as active as you want to be in the business. And the last few years, there's no question I've slowed down a lot, but I still enjoy what I can do. It's been a great life. I wouldn't trade places with anybody.
Mr. Hughes is the 16th Oklahoman to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. For past winners, visit our website at okhorizon.com, where we'll have a page with stories on recent winners under this week's Value Added.
Still to come on Oklahoma Horizon, diamonds are a girl's best friend. But first, the science of agriculture.
Ag in the Classroom is a program designed to help familiarize Oklahoma's school children with Oklahoma's food and fiber industry. And each year they select one teacher as Oklahoma's Ag in the Classroom Teacher of the Year. We traveled to Gore, Oklahoma to meet her. They shell it, grind it, and make cornmeal from it, all to discover where their food comes from. Kimberly Pearson is a science teacher at Gore High School and says cooking is just one way her 8th grade students learn about food.
They still will try anything that you let them cook on their own. They will give it a try. And some of them come to find out that's better than they think on some of the things.
And Pearson uses what she knows. Corn.
I was born into a farm, and corn is one of the things that we've grown. I've been selling sweet corn on the side of the road since I was 6. So I'm just the corn queen. And I wanted to show them that when we bring it from the field, what we can do with it.
Bringing ag into the classroom.
I got to searching on the internet for things and found ag in the classroom. Like, they even have workshops you can go to. And some of the things I had already incorporated into my classroom, and that made it easy. They had a lot of things that I didn't have written up. And this is bad, but I always take it and change it a little bit for me. I always write it up for Sequoyah County statistics and things like that on our fields in this area. And but I love the programs that they have.
8th grader Brody Clark says Pearson's hands-on approach makes learning fun.
It's very interesting, and I guess it's nice of her to let us do all this stuff with agriculture and give us all these opportunities.
Matthew Mannon says he has a whole new appreciation for agriculture.
How much work there is put into all of this, because I really didn't know that they worked this hard before Miss Pearson brought all this stuff in and showed us.
And that's why she does it, because the students just don't know where their food comes from.
They don't have a clue. When I brought in the stalks of corn, they didn't know that field corn was twice as tall as sweet corn. They just drive by a cornfield and it's all corn. They don't know that some of it's popcorn. They didn't even realize that popcorn grows on a stalk, just like an ear of corn. I can take a busload of kids by and say, what's in that field? And they don't. I have to get out of the bus and go down and show them, this is soybeans, this is, wheat. We talked a little bit earlier today with my other class about the wheat fields, how beautiful they are right now. They're like a green carpet. And they're like, that's wheat out there? Then so they just drive by it, they don't really pay attention.
You try that, then try this. You want me to eat this?
Pearson even takes time to share her activities with the younger grades.
Yeah, try the other.
I love to do an ag day.
Do you like better? Way better. Yeah, a lot better.
The little kids, they just love doing anything. Just going to the barn where we went to was a big experience for them. And so I try to bring a little bit of that into it.
The 2013 Ag in the Classroom Teacher of the Year is from Gore, Oklahoma.
Just one of the reasons that Pearson was selected to be this year's Ag in the Classroom Teacher of the Year. Audrey Harmon is with Oklahoma's Ag in the Classroom.
Well, Kim does a fantastic job working with her students in the middle school and also including all the schools, all the children in the whole school with Ag Days and other exciting activities for them. But in her middle school classroom, she takes that initiative to bring in agriculture to her students and not just do the curriculum, the textbooks, but also bring the agriculture in and apply it to what she's already teaching them.
I'm very honored. I don't think it's sunk in just yet on what it is yet.
Earlier this week, Pearson was recognized during Ag Day at the Capitol for her service and unique teaching style. It's a big honor because approximately 5,000 teachers are currently using Ag in the Classroom right here in Oklahoma.
Want to share something you've seen here today? Well, all of our episodes are streaming on our YouTube channel at Oklahoma Horizon TV. Or you can subscribe to our weekly free podcasts on iTunes.
Agriculture remains one of Oklahoma's leading industries, and cattle have been a big part of that success, despite Mother Nature not making it easy on ranchers. Joining us now from the Oklahoma State Fairgrounds is our Andy Barth.
Elisa, each year thousands of students pass through these doors showing livestock. It's an Oklahoma tradition and a very big industry, but one that's facing some definite challenges thanks to our Oklahoma weather.
Meatloaf, hamburger, and roasts. All were featured at the Oklahoma Cattlewomen's Beef Cook-Off, where cooking finalist Lady Branham says beef is a major staple in her diet.
I was raised in a beef family. My grandfather raised cattle in Iowa, and specifically Angus, so we were raised eating very, very good beef, and I've been a dedicated beef eater my whole life.
But that dedication could prove expensive if the drought continues for a third consecutive year. Oklahoma cattlewoman Nancy Buckminster.
My husband and I run a cow and calf operation near Lahoma, Oklahoma, and that's our main source of income.
An income threatened by the lack of rain.
Naturally, we're wishing for a rain every day, and the pastures are getting short. We have had to sell some cattle last year and again this year, and that would be our main concern. At the present time, they are still grazing of the cattle we do have left, but we would certainly like to have a rain. That would be our greatest concern.
And according to Oklahoma cattlewoman Becca Lasich, with no rain comes diminishing cattle numbers.
One of the concerns is that cattle numbers are going to continue to drop. Producers are unfortunately having to sell their herds or diminish their herds just because they don't have what they need for those animals.
At the beginning of 2011, the number of cattle in Oklahoma was just over 5 million head. As of January 2013, that number has dropped to 4.2 million, a similar problem found across major beef-producing states, causing beef prices at the grocery store to spike. Beef Cook-Off winner and cattle producer Deborah Clifton.
tilted. I believe the beef on a budget is a great thing. Cooking meals that you can make it last spread out. Having steaks are wonderful. I'm a T-bone girl, but I'm going to have to cut back on T-bones and have more roast and chucks. When I have company, fix a bigger meal with a beef that will go farther.
In order for beef producers to be successful, they have to promote their product. But producers can't be everywhere all the time. So that's where the Beef Checkoff program comes in. Oklahoma Beef Council's Heather Buckmaster.
When we're looking at prices, and any time that you have restricted herds, you know that prices are going to be going up. But one of the things that we do from the Beef Checkoff perspective is really helping them to stretch those dollars out as far as they can and still make beef a part of their meals for their families.
Now, the Beef Checkoff program takes a percentage of every dollar a cattle producer makes to put toward educational programs and beef promotion. A great resource, but one that struggles when cattle numbers shrink.
The concerns we obviously have right now is it impacts everybody. So when we have a herd that's constricting, our checkoff revenues are constricting as well. But like everybody else, we're tightening our belt and finding those everywhere we can that we can possibly cut. We're making those cuts while still working to keep effective programs into the front of the public.
From feeding to marketing, everyone agrees the solution is as simple as
water, 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 rain, rain, rain.
And it can't come soon enough.
Now, cattle producers aren't the only ones worried about weather conditions. Everything that goes into feeding cattle, from hay to grain, are at risk for low yields, causing a ripple effect in price jumps.
So Andy, how has Oklahoma weather changed this year?
Elisa, currently the entire state of Oklahoma is still under some level of drought. But thanks to some earlier moisture, much of the state has decreased from its previous exceptional drought status. But climatologists say we are still a long way from becoming drought-free.
All right. Thank you so much, Andy.
You're welcome, Elisa.
Each year, the Diamond Hats organization raises money for scholarships to help youth in agriculture go on to college. But this year, they held an event to help a younger group of kids not necessarily in agriculture. With more, here's Arkela Kellen.
The Diamond Hats organization is a group of women who work to promote young Oklahomans in agriculture. This year, they held an event called This One's from the Girls at the Oklahoma Youth Expo, where the women of the Diamond Hats organization challenged 4-H and FFA exhibitors to donate their animals to help support the regional food bank and the Beef for Backpacks program.
Girls, girls, girls. But what do all these girls have in common?
Today we had our 6th annual This One's from the Girls, an event to motivate, inspire, and educate young women in agriculture in Oklahoma, and specifically those exhibiting this week at Oklahoma Youth Expo.
Former Diamond Hats president Lacey Del Gracia hosted the annual event, which this year focused on working to feed the hungry.
The Animal Donation Project is something that the Diamond Hats thought of a couple years ago to further give a bigger purpose to the exhibiting animals. Each student has the choice upon the conclusion of the show if they want to donate their project to help the hungry children of Oklahoma through the Oklahoma Regional Food Bank. So we hope that each young lady that attended today received that message and will prayerfully make that decision to have a bigger purpose for their exhibiting animal.
A bigger purpose for the animals that are working to serve an even greater cause.
I actually donated my Angus show steer to the regional food bank, and he weighed about 1,250 pounds and made 8,500 meals.
Sadie Cook is a senior in high school who last year saw the need to help and donated her show steer to help feed those in need.
Children have died. Our life in general needs to be more about others, and I've definitely learned that in the past year, and I just want younger FFA members or 4-H members to learn that in order to be successful and to enjoy others, you have to think less about yourself and be selfless, and remember that in the grand scheme of things, it's not about us.
This year, an FFA chapter from Hobart, Oklahoma, decided they wanted to help make a difference and were awarded for their donation at this year's Oklahoma Youth Expo livestock sale.
Well, this was just a great cause, and it was just a great opportunity for us to be able to help out our fellow underprivileged Oklahomans, and they made it very simple for us to donate our animals to and help these people. As a whole, our chapter donated 16 pigs.
a great opportunity to help and make a difference in the lives of others.
With a mission of fighting hunger and feeding hope, the Regional Food Bank of Oklahoma works to feed the hungry by putting food on the tables of families in need. And with the help of organizations like the Oklahoma Youth Expo and the Diamond Hats organization, more food is being provided to the hungry.
Next time on Oklahoma Horizon, a Titanic education for Oklahoma's young people.
We don't sell science, we sell scientists. We sell role models. We hold up people that look like them, a little older than them, that are having a lot of fun, doing great things, and they want to do it themselves. And so we show them how they can do it.
A look inside Oklahoma's career tech system and what makes it so successful. On Oklahoma's show for the Heartland, Oklahoma Horizon. Well, we are out of time. I'm Elisa Hines. Thanks for watching. Join us back here next week.
Horizon is made possible by the Oklahoma Department of Career and Technology Education and the Oklahoma Department of Agriculture, Food, and Forestry, helping good people grow good things. Thank you for watching Oklahoma Horizon.